we're engaging our core so that our backs are nice and flat, our core is engaged. We don't want to be out like this, and we don't want to be back like this. Nice neutral spine, neutral neck, feet about shoulder width, slight bend in the knee, just like we've been practicing with everything else. I like to get myself a little lower just so I get a nice kind of grip on the ground, and then pull. Now, I found myself in a pretty good spot here, but a lot of times I start on a little too forward and a little too close or a little too far away. If you're a little too close, you're gonna feel it's a little too loose and it's not doing stuff at a certain point. And if you're too far away, you're gonna pull in, and you're gonna pull your body in because it's too much resistance. So find a nice spot where you're nice and comfortable. And again, just like everything else, we're doing minute adjustments throughout to find where it feels good. So I feel good here. And then I'm gonna go a little bit closer. No, I was right. Okay, now notice, same thing as everything else. I'm slow, I'm controlled, and I'm basically moving just my back. I mean, I'm engaged elsewhere, but my back is the primary mover of this. And it's important to note that your lats are the primary mover, not your lower back. Your lower back is stabilized here. You notice I'm not going back and forth. And make sure that you don't go back and forth. You want to hold that core engagement. That's where that core engagement really comes in handy, that tummy flex, so that you don't utilize your lower back as a main agonist for this movement or a main mover for this movement. It's meant to stabilize, primarily a stabilizer. There's nuance to that, but for especially learners, keep your back flat, be safe. When we're talking about working the back, we're not talking about working the lumbar area, or we don't want to be doing this action, okay? We get that already, we work that already if we're doing a good form. Our glutes, not our lower back, but mostly our glutes and our hamstrings, if we're doing our deadlifts effectively, okay? So see how that strengthens that area in the right way or in a more solid, structured way, as opposed to if you're doing this, your back's not really meant to, it's meant to do that to some degree, but it's not meant to be a primary agonist in, kind of your day-to-day movements. So it's important that when we're engaging our core, our back's nice and flat, we're staying still, except for the places that are moving, obviously, except for the pull itself, okay? So again, it's okay if your palms are facing up, two facing each other, facing down, but keep them consistent and do it with intention, just so that, so you're practicing one way. And then if you want to try it again in other ways and other sets, do that. Other instances where you lift it, or other instances where you do the movement. Okay, so again, notice how intentional and controlled. Notice I'm getting that full range of motion all the way out and all the way back. Now I want to create a little more resistance, so I'm going to take a step back. And you can do the same thing here. You can, if you want to make it harder, take a little extra step back. If you want to make it easier, take a little step forward. Just make sure that if you make it easier, you're not doing it to where you're not doing anything here where it's getting loose like that. If it's loose like that, you're no longer applying the tension when it's like that. When we're combining repetitions or putting repetitions back to back without resting, the goal is to increase the amount of time that the muscles are under tension, or increase the time under tension. So in this case, if I want to make it harder, but I don't want to make it necessarily more resistance, instead of maybe 5 reps, maybe I'll do 10 reps. And again, it doesn't matter how many reps you do, especially when you're practicing with the thoughtful framework, in the sense that we're listening to our inner voice, our internal monologue, and as soon as that, or dialogue for some of us, like me, and then as soon as we get that voice in our head that says, I don't really want to do that anymore, we stop, okay? Now, in future instruction and future installments, we'll talk about pushing that feeling a little bit, and we'll talk about increasing time under tension, and we will talk about the different ways that we want to apply the resistance or the movement to get different results.